You are now listening to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin podcast, a weekly review of Monday Night Raw and other wrestling-related topics. And here's your hosts, Peter Day and Jake Grandi.
Hello, boys and girls.
What's up, what's up?
You're now, wait a minute, Buddha months in the trunk. It's been a week. It's been a week between...
A little rusty?
Yeah, rusty. Rusty.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, what's up? Buddha months in the trunk. Turn the bass up. You want to do that? Did you want to?
Yeah, I was thinking that was my cue, man.
Go for it.
Turn the bass up.
Too late. You're now listening and watching Peters. I've been doing so many Peters recently. That sounded weird. I've been doing.
You've been doing Peters?
I've been doing Peters. I've been doing so many of my own little reviews and shit recently that it's just rolling right off the tongue. You are now listening and watching Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin, and this is episode 66.
Nice.
Episode 66. Last week was with Keita Hubbard. I'd like to thank her again for filling in. And I didn't do a New Day podcast. I never do a New Day podcast after pay-per-views because of videos, the editing, the live reactions. And speaking of live reactions of SummerSlam, did you watch SummerSlam live?
You mean Survivor Series?
Survivor Series.
I tried to watch live, but the network was messing up, and I had to postpone it. I got about an hour and a half in, and I realized that it kept messing up so much I didn't really know what was even happening. So I had to wait till the next morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
At first I had issues because they say you can just so the conversation right now is about how shitty the stream was, and it wasn't your internet.
I have Hulu and I have Netflix as well, and none of those mess up. So,
but they're not live streaming either.
Exactly. So I mean, it's hard for me to tell. I don't have issues doing anything else with my internet, but it could be. I mean, it could be my internet, but at the same time, it does seem to mess up when it's pay-per-views because I think it's
a live stream.
Yeah, like what we were saying, Netflix and Hulu, these other things, they don't have mass groups of people coming all in at once like the WWE does with these pay-per-views. It's pretty much why you would get them. It's hard. I mean, it's amazing they can pull it off to the amount they do, but I do think they need to tweak it a little bit to make sure.
No, they need to kick out more money and buy a bigger server.
Well, yeah, exactly. I guess I was being polite, but that's exactly what they need to do.
It's simple. If they get enough complaints, MLB, because they are more seasoned, because the people who are running, I don't know if they're still working with the same people who stream MLB. I don't know.
I thought they were. I thought it was the MLB and WWE got together to...
Well, no, not MLB. They didn't team up with MLB. The MLB hires a company to do all the streaming. Yeah. So they basically got in touch with the same people with MLB. But the difference between MLB streaming, live streaming, is that, again, they're not trying to bring in hundreds of thousands of people all at once to watch one feed. It's spread out. Look at this guy yawning.
Rough day, guys.
Rough day. I heard it. Yeah, it was a straight shoot. he got hit with a foreign object. That's what I say at the end of every. That's what I say at the end of every podcast. Watch out for those foreign objects. He got hit with one. Definitely got hit with one earlier today.
It's all good though,
dude. He didn't see it coming. It was
blindsided. Man.
Was it a kendo stick? What was it? Was it a fire hydrant? What was it? Shoe? Was it a shoe?
It was like a flaming table or something.
It was a table. It was a flaming table. You got put through a table.
Yeah, it was done. I was done for.
Tax.
Oh, tax, barbed wire, man. Some CCW shit went down.
Was it down? Was it a couple of flights, or was it standing power bomb?
I think it was you remember Balls Mahoney and ECW got 3D through the flaming table with tax on it. I think that's what the image that's coming to mind.
But it wasn't. It was just one table. It wasn't a stack. Of tables.
It wasn't a stack. I mean, let's keep it in perspective.
Okay, all right. I would say it's stacked. It's too high stacked.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I had issues with the stream as well. I actually, because they say if you go back a couple of seconds, it can be all right. But I don't know if there's a difference between the types of feed through whatever medium. You use Xbox. I use, God damn it. I tell you what, I'm so sick of this. Almost every episode, the fucking General Raw manager always hits me up.
I know. You're popular.
Man, fuck him. Fucking Hornswoggle. We know it's Hornswoggle. Cut it out. Well, anyway, I don't know whether it's a variation through Roku, Apple TV. I watch from HTML. I watch from the actual, network site.
Yeah.
So I don't know if because Polk, if he's listening, T.O. Polk, Terrence, I said out of a tweet saying, "Hey man, is anyone else having as shitty a time trying to download as I am, stream as I am?" And he was like, "No, I'm doing just fine." I said, "Well, I'm going through the network. I'm going through .com," and he said, "Me too. I'm great." And it was like the first hour and a half that was an issue to me because I watched first I had it on my PC, then I moved over to my Mac, and the Mac was like, dude, I was at least 2 minutes behind. And I'm like, this is still freezing?
Yeah.
Unless everyone else is going back 2 minutes behind too to keep up as well. So I ended up going back to my PC. And the rest of the night, I would say from the Undertaker and the championship final between Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns was great. It ran smooth.
I had given up at that point because I really wanted to watch those matches. So I had stopped around the women's match, and I said, I'm just too frustrated. I want to enjoy this. I'm just going to go to sleep, wake up early in the morning, and watch it.
So how about this? Outside of the stream, let's go into the actual Survivor Series review. I even watched it. I just happened to be in the house, so I watched the pre-show as well.
Oh, yeah.
But if you were to grade this on a 1 to 10, or if you wanted to give it a grade, will you want to do number 1 to 10, or you want to do grade?
Let's do number because I'm thinking 6.5.
God damn it! Really?
Like 6.5, 7, something around there. Yeah, not a good show. I think it was. I mean, Sheamus won the title, man. I can't. That's just like awful. Like, they didn't hype him up at all. They had Ryback beat him earlier in the night. It just kind of just holes through.
I still think he got pinned. He didn't get beat. That always drives me crazy when people throw in the tag team as a loss thing.
Well, if you're gonna make him strong and you're gonna put the world title on the world title, like technically he's supposed to be the biggest star you have at the moment, which that's
Who?
Sheamus. Apparently, that's who the world title is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like the guy. That's what they call it, the man, the guy. Like, and Sheamus. I mean, we talked for weeks that he looked silly carrying the briefcase. We thought he never would have it, and then
I predicted he would have it.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So, I've been a proponent of him having that briefcase. Not necessarily a proponent from having it, but I was like, there's a reason why he has it. There's a reason. He's in case of emergency break glass guy. Because he's a company guy. He's been around long enough to where this is his fourth reign. Yeah. And he's credible. And the booking.
Do you see him as credible? He was in a tag team that was losing to the Lucha Dragons and Barrett 2 weeks ago. I get there's injuries and everything, but I just really don't see him as the guy.
Credible as a former world champion. Credible as a reliable hand on deck. He doesn't deal with too many injuries, and he's also just. He's Triple H guy.
That's it. Vince
McMahon likes him too. He's definitely he's a direct market. He's a direct line in terms of market, in terms of big stars to the English market. Very much like Alberto Del Rio. They're almost like the same guy to me, but but one is one other. I think he has a lot of He has a lot of qualities to him, on top of the fact that he's an ex-champion. But once you think about it, him having that briefcase and him actually cashing it in at that time, and being that it is Sheamus, in case of emergency break glass, he has championship experience.
Yeah, but those...
I'm not fending for him.
I don't know, man. I just don't... I'm not... he now is just a part of this big faction, like jumping on. He doesn't stand out to me in any way, and he has the belt. He just brings the belt down. Whereas if it was on Roman Reigns, at least it would be like, that is, you can make a point that he is popular.
Let's get back to that by the time we get to that main event, because I have a theory, man, and it hit me like a ton of bricks when I was reviewing when I did Peter's Raw recap.
Okay.
So I give this show a 1. It was bad, and I only give it a 1 because Sheamus cashed in. It was the only thing. Now, do I agree with him cashing in? No. But do I agree with the entertainment value of him cashing in comparatively to what this night was?
That's true. It's the only it's the only thing that exciting that happened at all.
Yeah, dude, just for entertainment value. Now, I don't know if you watched my reaction video to this. But at the very end, when Roman Reigns wins, you know what? We'll get there. We'll get there. But yes, I give it a 1. I only give it a 1 because of the cash in. Everything else was just like, it was the safest show to date. At least SummerSlam had a little bit of a twist, a little bit, but like, and you had a Brock Lesnar Undertaker show. I mean, match, whatever, dude. At least they had that. But this is all filler, man. This is filler mania. And
I mean, they do have a lot of injuries and things like that, and I guess this is like the kind of product we're gonna get is like a little confusing, but kind of run of the mill, you know? Like,
no, this is filler. This is booty. Like, and in the great words of Big E, this is booty, and it's to be expected. Even if we didn't have injuries, and even if we didn't have NFL, you remember last year? What happened? They had an actual 5-on-5 and Sting return and Dolph Ziggler. And then what did they do after that? The next Raw, it was like almost up to a 4. People waiting for Sting to see what would happen.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything. And it was just like, what? And it was just garbage. The Royal Rumble was garbage. Up to Fastlane, everything was garbage until Fastlane rolled around. So this is like a big filler moment, and there were no big time injuries.
This is true.
This is filler crap, and they try to use the NFL as an excuse, and now they're trying to double layer the shit with injuries and NFL. And I'm like, nah, man, I watched the show. I've seen this. I've seen this one too many times, and it surprises me that people that watch wrestling, they've been watching wrestling for years upon years, always try to find an excuse for, not saying you, but just they try to find an excuse to why things are going wrong. And even this past Raw, it was like the first time in like years that they dropped below 3. You hear about that? It was like 2.7. Yeah, it was like a 2.7.
You hear about, speaking of injuries, you hear about Cesaro.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
I'm going to get to that because when I did my review of SummerSlam after the show, I was like, no Cesaro, ain't that a bitch? But then I was just like, I found out listening to, I think it was Shake Them Ropes, and they brought it up in their thing, and I was like, oh man, rotator cuff surgery.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I think it said like 4 to 6 months. Or weeks, I can't remember. I shouldn't be saying.
It's your shoulder, man. He's going to be out for a while, too. And, everyone, 4 to 6 months, I mean, he'll be on the shelf for at least 10. Because he has to adjust. One of his biggest move is that uppercut.
Yeah.
And I imagine all those uppercuts he's been given has been wearing terrible.
Do you remember that Raw from the UK where he was like kind of like...
Yep, he fell wrong.
Yeah, and he continued the match, and I thought it was just like a good job selling or whatever, but I think that might have been the beginning of the end, not necessarily like, It was
a little bit of both. I like to think he probably felt the twitch, and a good sell is pain,
Yeah.
But I'd imagine he sold it as it happened because he's Cesaro. Give him credit on the sell.
If he's actually hurt, I mean,
yeah. Well, I know, but like, give him credit on the sell though. I don't know. I think because I always give it the benefit of the doubt. I was like, that looked painful.
Well, I always wait to see if they mention it because normally 9 times out of 10, if someone's actually hurt, they try to cover it up. But then if JBL and Michael Cole started talking about it, then I was like, okay, well then he's just selling.
Well, they've gotten better at actually focusing in on possible injuries.
Yeah.
You know, they're slow motion. See that there? See, it's right there. It's like, goddamn, John Madden.
Yeah.
But
what'd you think of these two semifinal matches? Like the
well, let's go
Reigns?
to the pre-show. Like, let's go ahead and do the pre-show.
Okay.
So you didn't get to watch the pre-show.
I didn't.
So the pre-show was basically a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series, which is garbage. You know, because it was like, again, we went from last year to having a legitimate 5-on-5 Survivor Series, Team Cena versus Team Authority. Stakes and a winner that looked like he was going to take off. This year was like 2 makeshift Survivor Series just for shits and giggles. It could have been just another Battle Royal just to get those guys in. It would have been no different.
For sure.
The name of the fucking show is called Survivor Series, and you don't really get a storyline based on Survivor Series, and that's all because they booked around the Undertaker. They booked around Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. That's it. And the meat of your pay-per-views is mid-card. That's what gets you through to the main events. And they just said, and that's why they call it mid-card hell. You know? These guys are in hell. Because it's once they participate, and then that's it. That's it. Moving forward, they got nothing else.
Well, I mean, Goldust came back on the pre-show. They didn't make a big deal about that at all.
Yeah. And that was one of the things about that's part of my one.
Yeah, I think that since the roster is so depleted, anything that could make anything stand out, like having a surprise, like, you know, you could have had Stardust talk about the Survivor Series matches as much as possible on a SmackDown, on a Raw, on the internet, and then all of a sudden the rabbit out of the hat on the other team is his brother, and then you could continue that feud. That would have been a great way to not make these matches just meaningless, is to kind of spice it up like that. It just seemed, this whole pay-per-view just seemed thrown together. I get that it kind of was, but I mean, they still had a few weeks not to have it thrown together. It
all happened in guerrilla, and it was fun, and it's pretty funny that the first 2.5 weeks going into the build to this was like so awesome, and then like it just,
yeah.
So you had the Dudleys. Yeah, you had the Dudleys, Titus O'Neil, Neville, and Goldust. The return of Goldust versus Cosmic Wasteland, which is the Ascension, and Stardust, Bo Dallas, and The Miz. It ended up at the end, the lone survivor. The only person to get kicked out of the Faces was Neville. Neville was the only one that got taken out, which is kind of crazy. I mean, if I was to pick anybody that was going to get sort of eliminated from the Faces at first, I would have guessed Titus would have been that guy, honestly, because he's a bigger guy.
He's in a tag team, yeah,
and it would make the heels actually making them look like a threat. Sometimes when you watch these things, like the first people that go out are more or less the bigger. In terms of size, the bigger guy, the more like the good loss to make whatever side look better. Mm-hmm. But they took out the smaller guy in Neville, and then it's like 4-on-1 that ended with, Miz go out, Dallas goes out, both Ascension guys get, I think Connor gets taken out within the first like 5 seconds. You're left with 4-on-1 with Stardust. And then he gets hit with a 3D, and that's how that ends. It would have been nice they would have played up a little more the return of Goldust and have at least it been even Stevens until they got to Goldust and Stardust for them to sort of face off.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, I think they were just looking for the cheap pop. 3D always seems to get that pop. Yeah, like this is just clusterfuck thrown together. I was surprised. I read that it did last 18 minutes, and that's pretty good for a pre-show match. Normally pre-show matches are like 5-10 minutes.
Well, depending on when they started.
Yeah.
And depending on what main event they have for the main show. Now, I guess whatever pre-show is maybe one-on-one or tag team, they have The Undertaker as a main card They have a Cena match as the main card.
Mm-hmm.
They have Brock Lesnar as the main card. So they're using the majority of the pre-show to sell that over and over and over again.
Of course, yeah.
And they didn't have those two. They only had the Undertaker that they built to a certain extent, but there was no real build for that tag for the tournament final.
Oh no, yeah, no way. And then I guess we go right into it. Roman Reigns versus Del Rio. I thought
Spear.
That was a good little match, though. Didn't you think? No, okay.
The show. Now, you know what, Atlanta? I give you guys shit, a lot of shit, especially for your Stop yawning, dude.
Sorry, man. I'm tired, man.
Need some coffee?
No.
we can pause this and go coffee on the motherfucker. But Atlanta, I give y'all a lot of shit because in terms of your fanship of athleticism or what have you, whether it's your own team, your Falcons, y'all jump ship from that. You look at a Falcons game. Okay, y'all went 5-0, and now they lost 1, they lost 2. You can't even give a motherfucker a ticket to go to a Falcons game. Your Hawks needed to win for y'all to actually put at least somebody's in.
It doesn't matter what color scheme you put on the Hawks, man. No one goes to those games.
They were winning though. They were the Pacers of the year before. They were the number 1 team, and people came because they love a winner. But and then your Braves, and people root for the Braves, but still, man, it's like
no one's there. When you watch the stadium, when you look at the stadium there, I completely agree with you with what you're saying here. It's like no one is at the stadium. Like there's sections empty for Braves games constantly.
And I go, you know what? It's so much going on in Atlanta. That's why, Miami, it's so much going on. Why are you focusing on sports? These people aren't there to be sports fans. Those people out there to live and have fun. If you're between the ages of fucking 24 and 45, you're just having fun.
Yeah.
Doing everything in your profession and nightlife. It's fucking awesome. Fuck this. But if there was ever a mainstay in terms of fanship of what you look at, Greensboro, you look at Philadelphia, you look at New York, you look at these places, Ohio, you look at Cincinnati, you look at Chicago, Atlanta, fucking Georgia. It's home of TBS, baby. WCW, NWA, Crockett Promotions. What the fuck, dude? You got all these things that historically, you guys, you show up to that motherfucker, you in for a good time.
Yeah.
Crickets. They did this fucking pay-per-view no favors. No heat, no cheer, no nothing. The loudest thing on the night was the pyro when Roman Reigns won. And it was to drown out the boos. So we get to Roman Reigns, Del Rio. Whatever. Del Rio's doing his fucking best, man. He's tried his best.
That super kick was nuts.
Oh,
nice,
dude.
Man.
He did his best trying to drop some sort of heel heat. But say it for me, please.
Inevitably?
The inevitability of how this match was going to turn out was a reflection of the crowd. They're like, we know Reigns is going to win. We know he's going to win. Yeah. So why are we going to get all heated up for? Let's just get to the final already. And
Dean beats Owens. I thought that match was slightly better.
No, it wasn't.
Why? Why was it not?
If anything, Owens, him just trying to draw heat very much just like Del Rio was, trying to draw heat of himself. I don't know what it is. It's like, maybe it's that bug of everybody wants to have that Macho Man Steamboat match where it's nobody gets any heat because no one allows themselves to get taken down for any amount of time whatsoever. I think Owens probably had offense, an advantage over Dean Ambrose at the most, maybe 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's a real quick match.
And I don't think Owens went down at all. Even at the end, he didn't go down because of a Hulk up, a flurry of offense for Dean Ambrose to get the victory. It all ended on a mistake and a dirty deeds. So it's how can the fuck can I get into a match where there's nobody down? He was Chinlock City, bitch, but then Chinlock was only on and him down for seriously 30 seconds. Where's the stomp, get up, boom, boom, flurry, boom, 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 and then go down again for another fucking 3 minutes. while we get behind you, while while Kevin Owens just constantly get heat for Dean Ambrose. And this is the Dean Ambrose problem. And this is why I tune out every time I watch him. He doesn't allow heat on himself. He doesn't allow the heel to get heat on him. And I just tune out. So he wins with Dirty D's, and I'm just like, all right, good. I had Kevin Owens as my dark horse, by the way.
That would have been nice. I thought that would have been good, but I think the allure of having the 2 Shield members in the main event, I think they were that's kind of what they wanted to do. I saw that coming from the announcement of the tournament, because that's just who, like, of course everyone knew Roman was going to win. They kind of told you that, but I just saw, like, the more I thought about it, I was like, they're not going to, that main event just looks nice on paper, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, because it's like the 2 Shield members, and, like, I think I could just tell that's what they would
look nice to who?
To the company.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's all right, but I'm not going to shit on that match, but I'm not going to cheer for that match, you know?
You know what? I think what they should do moving forward is, like, do a CGI of the crowd and have all the faces in the crowd basically just Vince McMahon face, Kevin Dunn, and Stephanie McMahon, and who else? And Michael P.S. Hayes. They just those 4 faces just in a row, every face in the crowd, because that's because they're not writing the show for the crowd anymore. They're writing the show for themselves.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is a prime example. And you can't even get heat on these 2, your Intercontinental champ and your U.S. champ. You get 2 guys that don't own belts at all going to the final. The suspense that is a heel, that is a Kevin Owens, one of the biggest, baddest heels in the company right now. Someone who's convincingly a dirtbag that you would actually put heat on because he's a fucking dirtbag.
No doubt.
Talking shit about, Sabrina the Teenage Witch and all that stuff. There's enough heat on that guy till you can make things interesting.
That's hilarious, by the way. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they could have done a lot with this tournament to make it more interesting, but every turn they didn't. The only real thing that was interesting is that one Kalisto win. That was the only thing that wasn't like...
And that was on SmackDown!
Yeah, that wasn't like run-of-the-mill, like, oh, Kalisto beat Ryback, oh. And then that was it. That was just what you were, building to.
It was a great match, though.
Yeah, it was great.
I love that match.
Oh, yeah.
Kalisto's a dude. They need to really back off on him and having to cut promos, though.
Yeah, and he was
Speak less.
He was in this next traditional Survivor Series match with Ryback, the Lucha Dragons, Ryback and the Usos versus the New Day, Barrett and Sheamus. It was kind of a nothing match, just like we've been talking. Big E gets eliminated, and they all leave to the back for some reason. They completely forget that,
it wasn't even a match. It wasn't. It's like, what's happening? The highlight of that actual match was as they coming out, and again, the heels, they love the New Day. Every heel on the roster loves the New Day because anytime that the New Day is hooked up with them, they get excited. They're all into it. This results into Sheamus getting hyped up and grabbing the mic and yelling, "Let's get jiggy on these posers."
That's a fact.
And that turned into an issue. That turned into an issue in itself, which I thought was pretty funny.
What was the issue? What happened? What's wrong with saying? I mean, that's kind of
you don't
really put jiggy with pose, but that's just the funny part about it.
It's a embarrassing dad moment. You imagine your dad getting on the mic and saying something like that. Like, come on, dad.
Was that not the point?
Yeah, but like.
Even too much so.
Let's draw as much attention to the idea that this guy could be the next fucking world heavyweight champion as possible.
Well, yeah.
Let's make him look like a cornball.
That's why I think you have him win here. I think you have
no.
Why? Just to make him look that much like he beat.
I'm sorry, not no for myself, no for the company.
Well, you just have you already had. I think you had a Lucha Dragon gone. You had an Uso gone. So why not have your next world champion beat Ryback, who he's been falling lately. He doesn't have the IC title anymore, and then beat 2 guys that are in tag teams. That's nothing for a world champion to do, I don't think. And then that makes him look a little strong. And heels weren't really doing a whole lot in this pay-per-view. So the fact that you have a heel win would have changed things up a little bit, even if they didn't put the belt on Sheamus.
This Survivor Series would have been great as a Empire Strikes Back. All the baby faces goes down. Like, all of them could have just went down in flames. All of them. And it would have made a compelling story to get heat on the heels, moving forward into the Royal Rumble, into Fastlane, into WrestleMania. And the fact that with all these injuries, because we need a fucking heel. We need a guy. We need a baby face to get all that heat. And Roman Reigns is not that guy, because we hate him already. But there's a big spot here, big babyface spot, where double stereo dive, suicide dive over the top, and then you even get Ryback coming off, pouncing on everybody, even his own homies. That was pretty funny. Sin Cara eliminates Barrett. Xavier Woods eliminates Jimmy Uso, which I thought was weird.
Because Woods is like the weaker of the New Day and everything like that?
Well, because it's the stronger of the Usos that got taken out.
Yeah.
And then Sheamus eliminates Sin Cara. Jey Uso eliminates Big E. And then Woods and Kofi just jets. And then Ryback eliminates Sheamus. And we're sitting back. I'm thinking, like, at some point, oh, yeah, the New Day is going to come back and finish this thing off. But they just don't. They don't come back.
Very strange. Like, it just seemed like it didn't make much sense.
Nope.
Like, why would they just, like... Why were they out there at all? If one guy gets eliminated, then they all leave. Like,
I think that was something they had just said in Guerrilla, and it was even more so to the idea that, like, let's not only have a embarrassing dad moment for Sheamus to not make you think that he was going to actually cash in or he would be your next WWE Heavyweight Champion, but let's also make him look as weak as possible, going down in flames to a guy who cannot get a win to save his life.
Yeah, this is true.
To even push him that much more further from the truth. But yeah, I felt like they all decided on this on the fly. I imagine there was an Omaha called mid-match, and plus, to make room. Because time, Omaha, like, hey, just go. We got time for two more people to get eliminated.
That's true, yeah. So the winners were, Jey Uso, Kalisto, and Ryback. It's like this weird convoluted team, like,
makeshift. But again, it doesn't contribute to the actual gimmick itself as the Survivor Series show.
Yeah, no doubt. And then we go on to Paige versus Charlotte. I figured this match was really good, but I think that the crowd, like you were saying before, just sat on their hands and were reading the paper. They did not give a fuck.
Their hands sat on their hands.
Yeah, like there was several spots, even when Charlotte was like spearing, doing her big spots. No, you normally, even with the least over baby face, you'll normally hear like just like an awe in the crowd, like a buzz going in the crowd. Nothing. I know they botched that last spot on the rail there a little bit, but I thought it was a good match, and I didn't really see why no one cared. Like usually there's some care.
I didn't care. I actually used that moment. Because it was freezing up. I was like, well, fuck this match anyway. I think I even predicted Paige winning, but I don't care. Paige going down to Nikki Bella bunch of times over the past month and a half, 2 months. I'm just like, whatever, who cares? Charlotte Flair, again, I'm not really a big fan of her in-ring. So I used that opportunity. Okay, it was freezing up. I used that opportunity to get off my MacBook, to move over to my PC, and by the time I got to my PC, the next match was on.
Yeah.
I actually went to Twitter to see who won.
Yeah, Charlotte won with the
and even on top of that, people were just so over that on Twitter that I had to scroll like a long way down because everyone was more hype about, Ziggler, and I was like, okay, who's going to say something about Charlotte? Who's going to say something about Charlotte or Paige? And it showed up, like, seriously, like, way down my scroll list.
That's nuts. That match was good, though, the Ziggler and Breeze.
But the Flair win with the figure 8, it didn't count. So even on top of the fact that, like, the crowd sat on their hands and no one cared, I fucking didn't even care to watch it. I don't care to watch any Divas matches beyond the 4 or 5 minutes. I'm done with after 4 or 5 minutes, man. I'm done. Unless you want to do something cool with an Iron Man, Iron Woman match with people I fucking want to see, right?
Yeah.
I deal with that. I deal with that. But I don't know what it is about those 4 horsemen, the 3 horsemen that's come up to the main roster. It's like, whew, they are.
You didn't think the Sasha and Becky Lynch matches are good?
I said with people that I want to see.
Oh, okay.
I want to see Becky Lynch. I'm a big
okay.
Becky Lynch fan. She's she could use some work. She's getting more work now than she ever did in NXT. And Sasha Banks, it's like, let's not forget about her. You know, she's.
Well, they were chanting, "We want Sasha" during this match. I mean, it seems like every time the women are out there, that's like the go-to chant is the "We want Sasha" chant.
Because the people want her out there.
Of
I mean,
course,
it's one of those things. It's just one of those things. And this is why the fucking ratings suck. Because the people are telling you on a fucking silver platform. Why is this sitting here? The people on a silver, they're saying, look, we want this guy, we want this girl, we want this. Now, I understand the predictability is the. But play along with it. You guys are talented enough to write up scripts on the characters that we would like to see in a certain spotlight. But you're like, no, not at all. Not at all. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you a loser. And we're going to give you a girl who needs a lot of work. And I just go... The crowd says Sasha. Omaha, get Sasha out there to fucking interfere with the match.
Well,
you know, her music hits. Fucking was it? The crowd loses its mind. It runs out and it's like, boom. You got a fucking tables, ladders, and chairs match, or even a Royal Rumble match, 3-way for the belt, featuring the girl that everyone wants to fucking see win it. And she doesn't have to necessarily win it.
She just got to be there.
Just got to be there to go after it.
I hope. I'd like to think that they're building toward that. Especially with Charlotte, the face, having the belt, and then, you know, she's the heel with the faction and everything. I think they are building toward that, but, I mean, who knows? I didn't see this pay-per-view coming at all, so maybe I'm not probably the right guy to talk to about this.
About what?
About predicting what's going to happen, because I did not think Sheamus was going to win or the belt at all, so...
I predicted it.
Yeah.
Well, not in my preview. Right, there's a tweet I made. I was like, sour grapes, Sheamus will cash in tonight. On my Twitter, it was like sour grapes, because just like very much like Rollins cashing in. I was like, sour grapes, Rollins is going to cash in tonight.
Yeah. Then we go into Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze. This match was good, man.
A joke. This is a joke.
This match.
Yep.
What was wrong with it?
Everything.
I thought that this. The way Tyler Breeze tied up Ziggler for the half crab there was like textbook fucking awesome. I think that was my favorite moment of the pay-per-view, was that half crab.
I actually thought this was going to be a good feud. I thought this was going to be a good match. It ended up just being...
It was quick, but what was wrong with the match?
It was dull. There was nothing excited about it.
You don't think that the crowd just kind of took it out? Like if you
Too many similarities between the aesthetics of Dolph Ziggler and Tyler Breeze. The aesthetic is too much. I think I would much rather... I think in theory it looks like it would be fun, but in execution, I would much rather see a drastic difference in style. I would much rather see a drastic difference in appearance. You know, I want to see fucking Dolph Ziggler in there with like Titus O'Neil. I want like just a stark difference. I want Tyler Breeze in there with like, you know, I want him in there with Luke Harper.
Yeah,
right?
No, I definitely like those kinds of matches better too, but I thought that these guys were going to... I thought, like you said, I thought it was going to be the Steamboat Savage of this 2015 Survivor Series. And it was just real quick. All these matches were quick. I don't know why or what they were doing. I guess they had to set up for all that confetti falling.
Well, it was 15 minutes. They had 15 whole minutes left after the
show. After
the 1-2-3 pin for Reigns.
Yeah.
You know, on Ambrose. They had 15 minutes. So you're talking 5 extra minutes that could be put on the New Day, the Survivor Series when the New Day walked off. 5 more minutes for the Del Rio and the Owens and Ambrose. And once you think about it again, those two matches, that semifinals match didn't have a sense of urgency whatsoever. Again, I mean,
no.
And then you have, and then what the big spot in this match wasn't Breeze winning, because it's like, okay, you're going to lose your debut, right? And then, like, you lose your debut in the tournament, then you beat Dolph Ziggler. And, like, where Dolph Ziggler lands in terms of, like, a good or a bad win, a win over Luke Harper, a win over Cesaro is still better than a win over Dolph Ziggler to me, because Dolph Ziggler hasn't really... They haven't put Dolph Ziggler in a situation where he's relevant to anything. He's in gimmick matches. He loses all the time.
Yeah.
And he's always put in a very irrelevant situation.
Yeah. You make a fair point there. I think that they just kind of liked it. They thought it was going to be a good match. I think they thought that the internet was going to really like it. But I don't know. I think I don't know. I think you're being too harsh, man. I thought the match was good.
I am being very harsh.
I know. I'm just saying.
I'm being very harsh, but I feel like I'm being very honest.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
I'm not trying to sugarcoat this. I mean, this was garbage. Again, the cash-in only made this a 1.
Yeah,
I almost gave this son bitch a -1, man.
Well, then we had the match that I think the crowd will.
But here, well, check this out though. It was the oversell of JBL and Michael Cole after fucking Breeze got that victory. Do you recall how they were like, oh my God, this is a career-defining win,
yeah.
JBL. This is a time when people will step up, and this is a match where everyone will remember you by. Like, what the fuck? What? They were overselling this shit like he had just fucking beat Stone Cold and The Rock in one night, man.
Yeah.
Like he had just beat Triple H and Randy Orton and fucking Batista in one night. He just beat Dolph Ziggler. Go back and watch just this oversell. I was just like, dude, calm the fuck down. And it seemed so forced because after they said their piece, they just went silent. It was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
You heard no cheers. You heard no nothing in the background. It was just like, okay, on to the next. Let's get to this. Let's get to fucking Undertaker, please.
That's what I think that the crowd really liked this match. They kind of were more alive for this match than any other matches. Yeah, it was. I liked how they set up of who Bray was going to pick at the beginning of it. But then I really think that if you can't keep relying on these old stars to win these matches, this was a big opportunity for you to have Bray win a big match. I know, I mean...
Not now. Not this match.
I mean...
Nowhere close. To decimate the entire Wyatt family, I think, was a bit much. But this was, in itself, the gimmick match.
I know.
This was family friendly.
If I were booking it, I would definitely have Bray win, and that could be your heel victory of the night, and then just have Roman win, no bullshit. Because then you're having the crowd boo, you're bringing them down, and then you're going to bring them up with, potentially Roman. But no one gives a shit about that either way. But this match, it was a match. Taker definitely showed his age here. I think he had a hard time picking up Harper.
Oh, he actually bailed.
Yeah, he bailed.
On Snake Eyes.
Yeah, and then he had a hard time picking up Harper at the early going, so then they went with the DDT.
Yeah, they said those Snake Eyes.
Yeah, and then he even had a harder time, but he wasn't going to give up on it.
Scared
because the tombstone. He held him, threw him, couldn't get his ass, in position pretty much, and it took a while.
Harper has that old man weight, it seems.
Yeah,
because I think Brock Lesnar weighs more than Harper, but I think it's just it's where the weight is shifted.
Yeah,
chicken legs are on Brock Lesnar. He has chicken legs, so he can lift them up. And the bottom part it's the heavy part. The thing with Harper, his is in the middle.
Yeah. Kind of like a pear shape.
Yeah. No, not pear shape. He's like a watermelon. He's like a fucking lemon, man. He has chicken legs, and he has he doesn't have a strong upper build, but he's solid. But he has a belly.
Yeah.
So it's like he's lifting more center. He has to go more core, trying to shift his ass over, and you can see him. I was like, please do not fall to a knee and break this guy's neck.
I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking, like, this is more apparent. Like, you can't keep going to Undertaker. Like, he's had a great career, 25 years as The Undertaker, 10 years before that wrestling other people. He's at his last leg. When are you going to keep sending him out until something like that happens? Like, you have to stop, and you have to have someone get over on him.
I disagree with you a lot. And sometimes it's me kind of trolling you a little bit, and sometimes it's shoot. But I'm going to strongly disagree with you on this, because what this match was to represent, and it's a shame that the Wyatt family actually had to be part of this, because I do want them to be a strong faction. Harper took the fall.
Yeah.
And this was no more than a feel-good storyline. You look at Undertaker's last couple of matches with Brock Lesnar, very, very heated, very serious. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of lightheartedness to it. Not a lot of celebration to him, and that's what this match was. It was a celebration of the Undertaker, and I will go with just watching them just do work, get in there, tombstone, pose, and bounce in a pay-per-view that means shit. See, if this was like, I was mad at, what he did with Wyatt for WrestleMania, right? Mm-hmm. I was pretty upset with Cena taking out Bray Wyatt the way he did, and we're talking Hell in a Cell, we're talking WrestleMania,
Mania 30, yeah,
yeah, and it's like those are big time matches where you have to put somebody over. You didn't have to necessarily put anybody over in this crappy ass Survivor Series pay-per-view. Give us a good feel good moment. No nut shots, no blood. None of that. I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna have to. Just get in there. He does his moves. He strikes the pose. We bounce out of there. Bray Wyatt didn't get pinned. Luke Harper did. There was a really cool spot where Braun Strowman goes through the Spanish announce table.
Yeah, did you see Brock Lesnar guy completely marking out?
Yeah, oh yeah.
He was like doing the tongue thing, like Undertaker didn't have to do his mannerisms because Brock Lesnar
he was.
Had it down.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That was hilarious. That was a fun part of the pay-per-view.
So it was a feel good moment of the night, and the crowd was all about it. I don't like when they chant "You still got it." I hate that. Good. But nevertheless, it was what it was, and I'll just leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Yeah, and then we've been talking about it the whole time, and then we go into the Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns match. The match itself was real quick. I think they kind of really buried Dean Ambrose in this
9 minutes.
Yeah, 9 minutes. I don't think that you can really have this match again because Roman Reigns beat him so handedly that it wouldn't really work as a legitimate match, which I think is something that they kind of missed the boat on there. And then, of course, Roman wins. Triple H comes out, gets speared by Roman. Sheamus comes out. Originally, it was a bro kick. I thought that they could have done the same angle, but then still have Roman win. And because Roman Reigns got cheered once they found out, it's either going to be Roman or Sheamus. Oh, fuck, we got to stop booing Roman Reigns immediately. And people started cheering for Roman Reigns immediately once they realized it could be Sheamus. Like, be careful what you wish for. Anyone but Reigns. No, it could be
anybody even more than Sheamus.
Yeah. And that's what I was listening to Dave Meltzer, and that's what he said. He said that's the only way they can guarantee Reigns getting cheered is putting the belt on Sheamus. Is because that's the only guy that people dislike more.
Now, here's where I stand. Fuck this match.
Yeah. This
entire show was a glorified pre-show. That's what it was. This was like a 4-hour pre-show. This whole shit. They could have done the Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatts in a house show because that's what that felt like.
They did actually in New Mexico. That's what it originally was.
Like that's house show material. Just feel good, get your moves, get your pose, and like honestly, that was it. We get down to this final, and it's like it's in stone that Reigns is going to win. And I'm sitting back, and in my reaction video, I go, "What the fuck? What the fuck? Hey, we got 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes. It's like 15 minutes. No, it was 5 minutes left. So 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes, man. Make this show interesting. Come on, I don't give a fuck. Please, Sheamus, make this. I'm screaming. Please, Sheamus, make this show interesting. Please give me something, because this safe ass show shit. Fuck this. Fuck this. Sheamus came in when Roman speared Triple H. I go, oh, that's interesting. And then when Sheamus came with that bro kick, I was like, holla fucking Luya. Just for entertainment purposes.
Sure, but then to have him win is like...
Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, don't you think they could have done the what you're talking about, but then Roman beats him, and then you could say Roman beat Del Rio, Dean Ambrose, and Sheamus in one night, putting him more over? Because you have to get these guys over. You have to get a heel over quick. You have to get a face over quick. Putting the belt on Sheamus is going back to some bullshit that didn't work a long time ago. He had the title 3 times, and then it didn't work. That's why they had to bring him down lower on the card. They gave him the briefcase for no fucking reason. No one understood why.
I told you why they gave it to him. It was a safe bet.
It's not a safe bet, man. It's a safe bet to low ass numbers. No one's gonna watch Sheamus. No one's gonna watch Sheamus.
Well, we saw that. We see that. But for the company, again, the company is the company, and again, the CGI faces of those 4 fucking faces in the crowd is who they're making this for. They're not making it for me and you. They put that fucking briefcase on Sheamus as in case of emergency break glass. You're not gonna put that fucking briefcase. Hey, the briefcase isn't meant for a babyface. It's not. It's meant for a fucking heel to go in and do some and go in for a fucking cheap win.
Well, I know. I mean, I'm not trying to play fantasy booking, but wouldn't you accomplish all those things with Rusev? And then he got hurt. He got hurt for a week, and he didn't get hurt before the Money in the Bank. You give it to him, even if he was hurt. I mean, and they would have felt better because that's a new champion. Like, Sheamus is stale. Sheamus, I don't give a fuck how many beads you put in his beard or how much gel you put in his mohawk. He is a stale character. He's not 3-dimensional. He's just he's just right there. It's just Sheamus. He's like the early 90s.
I asked you this question, bro, because I feel like there was an Omaha. In that entire 5 minutes, there was an Omaha.
Yeah.
That belt ain't shit. It ain't shit, okay? I'm just putting it out there, guys. And as much as I would love for the belt to mean something, and I like to think that it means something, over the past couple of fucking pay-per-views, name one time, and it made sense to me. It was an epiphany last Monday. And even to how this pay-per-view ended by the spear. Now, what was the talked about Mania event with Seth Rollins?
When he cashed it in?
No, just Seth Rollins moving on into WrestleMania.
Versus Triple H.
Okay. Now, a match against Triple H in WrestleMania versus a match against Seth Rollins for the belt. Which means more?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Like, going against Triple H.
Yes, right? Now, the belt only means that you are a champion. Okay? But are you a main eventer? No. What has been headlining main eventing the last couple fucking pay-per-views? Undertaker, Brock Lesnar.
And that's, I think there might have been one in between where Undertaker and Brock Lesnar didn't headline it.
It was Sting.
Yeah, Sting and Cena.
That was it, right?
And that was for the title, though.
I know, but like, only because.
Yeah.
Because you have that belt to make you a main eventer. I would almost prefer Roman Reigns to have the belt just to keep him out of the main event spot.
Well, I think.
You feel me?
I know exactly what you're saying, but I think that's indicative of the larger problem of them not being able to make new stars.
Who's going to get that belt next? They say Brock Lesnar. I say John Cena. I say John Cena comes back. And he gets that belt off a belt.
It's been a while. He said he was only gone for 6 weeks.
He pushed it more.
Oh, really?
It more. And,
what a dick.
And yeah, I know. And, well, I mean, it's indicative to the company to actually prepare for him to be gone forever. How about that? 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, fucking 3 months ain't nothing compared to him being gone forever, right? So if they can do themselves a favor and build up new fucking stars without him around and actually give someone the ball and let him run with it and trust it, sorry, man. Fucking Vince McMahon got to go. He has to go.
Yeah, and if you look at, I'm gonna bring it up. If you look at NXT and look at what Hunter's doing in NXT, it is. I mean, granted, it is an hour. It's not. 7 hours of programming each week, but you can see kind of like all the problems that we are talking about are fixed. The belt does. I mean, when you watch the show, it does mean something. Like everyone wants the belt. Like it, and like they do build new stars with vignettes, with just bringing them out slowly, putting new things on them more and more. Like if you look at like Big Cass and Enzo, at first it was just a tag team. Then they put a girl, and then they put matching tights on all of them. And then as you watch them evolve, Sheamus.
And then what you do, you fucking take them out and you put them on these dry ass, bullshit ass fucks.
Yeah, look at.
What the fuck is this? Who they called? The Dash and
Dash and Dawson.
Pieces of cardboard.
I think the whole deal with that is their dynamic works real well with Jordan and Gable, and they got to put the belts on the heels to then put it on the faces.
But why don't they just give it to fucking Kaz and Enzo?
Because they're hurt.
They haven't always been hurt.
Oh.
They've been more over than they've been hurt.
Well, because Kaz and Enzo are faces. It would have gone from face to face, and then they would have divided the crowd. And I think Enzo and Cass were supposed to get called up before Cass got hurt.
You put that. They should have had that belt a long time ago. That's all I'm saying. Regardless of NXT is developmental, right?
Yeah.
And to me, and I know, but like you could definitely put the belt on them just to test how the belts would look on them. Fucking Dash and Dawson, motherfucking, I see them being glorified. They're not even jobbers when they go to the main roster because they never make the main roster. So throw them a bone, give them the fucking NXT championship.
No, I don't agree with that, but I think we're getting a little sidetracked. I do think Dash and Dawson are great for what they do.
You don't get the last word on this. They suck.
There you go.
My name is first. I get the last word.
Wait, if your name's first, wouldn't I get the last?
Yes.
There you go.
Your name is last. You get the first word.
I get the last word.
You get the first word.
Why would I get the first word if I'm last?
Because it's just the way it goes, man. It's just the way it goes.
Right. Well, moving on from the shitty pay-per-view, we have a shitty Raw to discuss.